I'm Brendan Anderson, the founder of Climate People, and today we have a really special guest, Peyman Mortazavi, who is a senior backend and data engineer who has just transitioned his career into climate tech. So we're really excited to have you, Peyman, and talk to you about your experiences making this transition into the climate tech space. So thanks for joining myself, and then as always, Climate People's marketing extraordinaire, Natalie Lavery. So welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Brendan. Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So as you know, we've obviously had a number of conversations over the last month and a half or so about climate change and climate technology and moving careers into the space. And so obviously, first and foremost, we want to thank you for making this transition, because every one of us that's trying to help, we're all trying to do our part, even a small bit, to try to help save the planet. Can you talk a little bit about that transition for you, and ultimately why you decided that you wanted to take your career down this path to work for a climate impact organization?
Yeah, I mean, the full story is I started right after college. I mean, I got into a job, and the technical challenges that I was dealing with were very interesting to me, and that was enough. I didn't really care about what I was working on. I just wanted to be like part of like a software development team and learn the craft of like how do you build software. But then after I think 2 years, I started to get past that and then start to care about what is it that I'm actually doing. And then at that time I realized that, well, I didn't really care so much to work in the market insight or market research type of company. And then I tried to like find out what is it that I really want to work on. And that's when I like started to read a little bit more about environmental ethics, the climate change, and what is it that the individual responsibilities, how is it that we're going to be able to like get out of this. And I got very interested, and I wanted to like participate in it and then be a useful, be part of some solution, do something. It doesn't have to be like a world bending. I don't have to be like revolutionize the world, but I want to do like my part so that I know that I am doing something about it. At least I'm not just like watching it. But unfortunately, I couldn't. I mean, I would go to these like websites. I would go to like LinkedIn and hire, and I would set my preference that I want to work in like, what is it, green tech or climate change related company. And I just somehow didn't ever get matched with any of these places. So then I assumed that there is not many. So I went to work at like a database company. But I always had it in the back of my mind that I wanted to do this. And a few months into the job, I think 5 or 6 months, I came across a blog post that it was about how software engineers could be an important and helpful like force in this in this whole space. And then I read that, and then I read a few more blog posts, and that's when I got connected to there's this website called I forgot what it's called, work on climate or something like that. And through that, I realized that there's a lot of like community of people who are like, they're sharing, there's like people are interested in this. And then you reached out and I got connected to you, which then you were like, through you, I realized, oh my God, there's all sorts of places, all sorts of teams, all sorts of like nonprofit, for-profit, all different areas that are working on this, and you could be part of it. And it's not that there's a shortage of these jobs. It's just that somehow they don't get found. At least I didn't find them. And then the moment I realized this is a possibility, I was like, I'm going to take on this, and I'm going to go and see where I could actually like work in this full time.
Yeah, that's really great. It's interesting. Your experience actually is very similar to my own. I had been thinking about making this transition to recruit for climate tech or green tech, clean tech, whatever, I guess it used to be called clean tech. And I found my background as a recruiter was placing software engineers and data scientists. And so looking for those jobs through some of the traditional online resources, I wasn't able to find that connection of software technology jobs within companies that were doing good for the environment and for climate. And so it was something that took me several years to finally get to. It's very hard in looking through those traditional means. So I think that's a good transition to talk about that's a barrier. It's one of the big barriers of entry into the space is there's the traditional methods that people use, online job boards, LinkedIn, even just traditional tech recruiting agencies, right? I've talked to a lot of candidates that have talked to other recruiters and they'll say they want to interview for climate oriented jobs, and most of the job, like recruiters just don't have those jobs for them. So, but there's a lot of these jobs out there. That's the thing, they're there. Yeah. So one of the groups you mentioned was work on climate. Are there any other tips or experiences, things that like through your journey that you could recommend to other people that want to go down this path that you were exposed to that you think might be helpful?
I think the way it happened for me was very arbitrary. I mean, I just found this like post on Reddit, somebody said, and then I went down this like blog post, and this person had outlined so many points about this. One, he was approaching it from multiple ways. He was saying like, as a software engineer, you have more flexibility and you have more financial security. So you could utilize that to participate in other ways. But also there's all these like resources that you could use. And that's where I kind of found, he mentioned a couple of places and communities, but then I just picked the first one and I was like, oh, there's a whole universe out there. So I think what I would say for anybody is like trying to find something is find a group similar to this. I mean, if you just like search for blog posts and people's experiences, when you search for that, there's like a lot of stories that come up. And there are some people who like really outline some of these groups, and these groups I think are really great. Either is it like with amongst your friends, some people do it in a smaller scale, or the bigger ones where there's like a Slack group or a space where a lot of people come together and then like talk about these. That is, I think, where the good stuff comes out, because there's a lot of people who are looking for things. There's a lot of people, there's like looking for jobs, a lot of people who are looking for people to help out with. Some of them are for profit, some of them are non-profit, some of them they're just like looking for other types of help, because like not everybody's job is going to be directly relevant to this, or at least not now. So, but they could help in other ways. That's a space where you could learn so much about what you can do and how you can be helpful in it. And also, it's like a very good space to like see like-minded people. It just is so nice and positive, and it made me it made me have a more positive outlook for the future, honestly, seeing that there's so many people actively talking about this, participating in this. It's a good energy to have when you're in that kind of space.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So kind of to tie it back to the beginning a little bit more, what job did you take and what are you going to be doing in your new role?
Yeah, so I'll be working at Persefoni, and what they are going to, their organization is a management and accounting around carbon emissions. So they'll help a company or an organization to find and monitor the emissions that they currently have, and also to kind of hint them and suggest them with ways that they could reduce this. And they also do like they have like a private side of it where they do it for like they would just come work with a company and organization, but they also do reporting on what, like, for a company similar to this, what is the average like emissions that the peers of that company have. So then you will have like a way, like a benchmark or a contour to like kind of compare these organizations as far as like carbon emissions go. And at first, honestly, I kind of wanted something like that was more like direct impact, like carbon sequestration, or something that's like, we're gonna like cut the emissions we can see by this amount. But then I like, you know, once I chatted more with I think it was the vice president at the Persefoni, maybe, or is the CTO? I don't.
James, the VP is James. Yeah.
CTO, yeah. Chatting with him, it really just made it clear to me that there's like a problem. There's a problem of measurement, where if you can't measure anything, you can't really have like a baseline for how you're doing, where you're at, and what is it that you want to do, and like how can you know what is the target that you're going to go to if you don't even know what these measurements are? And these measurements don't come easy, and they're complicated and they're sophisticated, and companies have they struggle to do this on their own. So that's where they come in, and that's where they can be helpful. Also, there's going to be like perhaps upcoming regulations, and there's like an interest from people who do invest in companies to know about the emissions, like a portfolio of a company as far as like carbon emissions go. So that's where also it becomes important for you to have a good knowledge of what is your footprint. And then I realized what this is a helpful thing. And it is a software issue that we could solve. And that's where I got really excited about it. And what I'll be doing at this company, Persefoni, is they have a data pipeline where they have to bring data from different sources, match against some stuff, and then process it, and then make it ready for analytics, and then make it available through an API. So public or private or organizations could communicate via this API to see either where they stand or to compare themselves amongst their peers, and things like that. And I'm sure I'll definitely learn more about it once I start, but this is the picture I've gotten.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it really plays into that whole accountability piece like you were touching on too. So definitely agree that it's very important work. So congratulations, that's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Would you mind touching a little bit more on your experience just working with climate people a little bit more generally?
Yeah, it's very positive. I mean, honestly, I always struggled talking with recruiters because I felt like there was this facade that I had to put on to seem excited about something I wanted to do, but I really wasn't. I never was excited about any of these companies' missions to make Pepsi more rich, or I don't know, make something. None of these things felt interesting to me, or I didn't feel passionate about. But then immediately, the first meeting that I had, it was just so natural to talk about this because it is genuinely something I wanted to do for the first time, perhaps. And it is something that you wanted to do. So I just felt like there was an actual reason for us to talk, and the whole experience was nice. You were very helpful, the whole team, in matching me with the companies, also really hearing me out to understand what I was really looking for, and also, finding a good match, not to just seal some deal. And it felt very personal and yeah, very good overall.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you. I will say, just on that note, I really enjoyed working with you, and I want to just thank you for wanting to go down this path. The more people we can have that want to do these things and then actually do it, and then don't have to sacrifice. I think that's the other piece that I think a lot of folks probably don't necessarily realize, is that taking a job with a climate impact organization doesn't mean you have to take a pay cut. It doesn't mean that you have to go backwards. You're not doing this just for it's not an altruistic thing. These companies are they're trying to build profitable businesses that are also trying to help save the planet, and they pay well, and they're good jobs. So
yeah, they really are. Yeah, they're very good. I mean, there was no I didn't have to I didn't take any pay cut or anything like that. To your point.
Yep, that's great. Nat, sorry, I stepped on your toes there.
Oh no, I was just saying thank you, and that we really appreciate it. And it's like you're saying, it goes both ways. So we really appreciate all that you've done too.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Well, to tie this all up, Peyman, obviously, that for us, this isn't just about getting people jobs in climate. While that's definitely the most important thing, the reality is that we also want to be positive citizens, climate people. We want to be strong citizens within this community, and we felt like one of the best organizations to be a part of was 1% for the Planet. And so for those that don't know, 1% for the Planet is a platform where environmental nonprofits have access to companies that want to help shine a light on their organizations and donate money. So we've decided, out of the many amazing organizations, all the amazing organizations on 1% for the Planet, that we wanted to narrow down that pool and look at 4 companies that represent our diversity, equity, inclusion goals, and really try to highlight different organizations that are doing some amazing things in that space. So we picked 4 nonprofits. We're going to donate 1% of the placement fee that we're going to get from Persefoni to an environmental nonprofit of your choosing. So, drum roll. Who did you choose?
It was the Soul Farm. I mean, honestly, it was not an easy choice to make because all four of them were very interesting organizations. I just like, first of all, I love this 1% idea. It's very great, and it's I really enjoy it and I appreciate it. And then the four organizations were all very interesting, but at the end of the day, I think I landed on the Soul Farm because I do think this inequality that we have is a major barrier to many problems, but also it might not be very obvious to see, but for the climate change, because we need to enable people to have power and like financial security and have their own thing for us to be able to like tackle some of these issues. And this goes to combat that, to enable people to like have some sustainable farming and like in a land that they could work at and follow, like, you know, build from that. And so I wanted to choose that to support that.
Yeah, they're an incredible organization. They definitely do a really good job of balancing both the livelihood of the planet and also all the people that inhabit the planet too. So yeah, they're definitely really well-rounded and good choice.
Excellent.
Okay. Yes. I think that was all the questions that we had for you, unless Brendan, you had anything else that you wanted to touch on, or you too, Peyman, if you had anything else you wanted to add.
I'm good, thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, well, thank you again. Really appreciate it.